thing is calculations. Calculations are pretty awesome because you can avoid having to export to Excel and do fancy stuff there. So the most simple way to create a calculation would be to do something like, I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but I did create two examples I'll just show you. I was really going to try and create one on the fly, but my brain's not going to work that fast. So the first one I created is actually wicked simple. It's this, and this one probably, well, you'd have to change this one for your local one too. But so this sort of projects out for all of our electronic packages costs over the course of 3 years based on a 4% increase, and then it has one column for a 3% increase as a comparison point. So here's the 4s, and it goes 3 years out, and so on and so forth. And you can see that the number's getting bigger each year because I'm calculating it across the years. So this one's a super, super easy calculation. And if we look at it in the criteria, what we have is the one I'm hovering over now, which doesn't have the drop down. This one here, current year transaction amount. That's my baseline number. So to do a calculation, you have to have some aggregated field, right? Could be total number of circulations, total number of dollars spent, whatever. So current year transaction amount, and then this next one, 3% projection Y1. So I've edited the formula here, and basically what I've done, if you look at this, is that big enough to see? All right, well now we're losing lots of the screen, but you can actually see it. So now basically what this does is I took the column name. I think someone earlier showed how to see the sort of column formula of just the value itself, whatever analytics is calling it. So it's taking that and multiplying it by a number, by 1.03. So basically increasing it by 3%. That's super easy. And now I have no idea how to get back to where I was. Okay, so that's wicked easy. And then the ones that go forwards, so like 4% over 2 years, it just does the exact same thing, but just multiplies it twice, right? So that's incredibly easy to do, multiplying, subtracting, anything like that. But in like the case of this particular report, it's useful for forecasting out when you have a fixed number to start from. Oh shoot! The one which is more fun is this one here, which is loans by patron group again, but this one's a sort of more advanced version where I do some calculations on those numbers. And so what you can see is I have the same thing. I have the unique number of patrons, the number of loans, and the number of renewals, but then I calculate how many loans per patron and how many renewals per patron. And that's where calculations are a little more fun, because what you can do is you can run calculations of two columns against each other. So I have my unique patrons, and if I look at the formula for that, we can see it's using that count distinct that we saw a moment ago. So count distinct for that particular column. Loans, if I look at the formula, it's just loans.loans. So then loans per patron, I just divide one from the other, right? So you can divide a column by a column. That's pretty cool. And the one super tricky thing to remember with that is if you're doing a percentage, which I didn't do in this case, and I can't think of a sensical way to do that, but if you're doing a percentage, you have to remember to multiply it by 100, or else your number will be too small to show up. And then you oftentimes have to change the column properties. So if I did this as a percentage, it would register as a 0 by default, because the data format defaults to 0 decimal places. So you just have to change that piece there. And so that's pretty much the only sort of gotcha. Can anybody think of a good example of doing a quick division percentage? Anybody? It's wicked easy if I could just think of an example.
What is it you're trying to think of? Percentage?
I can't think of anything. Sorry. Like I did one, a really awesome one in Primo. This is pretty cool, but I couldn't figure out how to share it with y'all. but maybe we'll share that later once we figure it out. But the number of sessions on versus off campus, and the number of searches done on versus off campus, which is pretty cool. And then you could get like 52% of sessions were on campus, and that's a good example. I can't even show that because I can't get into the PBO. But that would have been cool. Sorry, I can't do the cool thing. All right, so I don't want to take up any more time. So in the names of those reports are in there, so you can pop in and see them. I'll add in the Primo one and figure out a way to save it so y'all can see that too, because that one's pretty cool, and you don't have to change any values to see the results for your own campus.